Let's say your company wants to lease an office in a really well-known Midtown Manhattan landmark Class A building with lots of name recognition. But you don't need a large chunk of space. Where do you go? What are the quality, Class A, iconic office buildings that are going to have the best selection of office rentals smaller than 5,000 square feet, or maybe even smaller than 2,500 square feet? Unfortunately, few Class A landmark buildings in New York City rent office space smaller than 5,000 square feet. A 10,000 square foot office rental in a building larger than 1,000,000 square feet is considered a small space by New York City standards. Finding a sub 5,000 square foot office rental in a famous skyscraper in Midtown Manhattan can be challenging. But don't worry, there are several well-known Midtown skyscrapers that could work for you. So I'm going to talk about 3 landmark buildings, 2 of which, without a doubt, you have heard of. The first one is the Chrysler Building. If your company or organization needs white-glove Class A office space in one of the world's most famous skyscrapers, you should consider the Chrysler Building at 405 Lexington Avenue. The Chrysler Building is a great choice for businesses or organizations seeking a small office rental in a famous skyscraper. Even though it is more than 1.2 million square feet and 76 stories tall, it offers several office spaces for rent ranging from about 2,100 square feet to 4,700 square feet. Many of the small spaces are above the 30th floor and are on corners. The skyline views from a high floor at the Chrysler Building are among the best that I've ever seen, and I've seen a lot of commercial buildings in the last 20 years. Also, the materials used for the pre-built units are very much above standard. There is a full-floor tenant-only amenity center on the entire 27th floor. I showed space recently at the Chrysler Building, and I assure you, everything is gorgeous, from the pre-built spaces to the amenity center, to the lobby, to the common quarters. For tenants looking for sub 1,000 square foot spaces and flexible lease terms, the co-working provider Spaces has the entire 7th, 8th, and 9th floors available. This co-working facility has textile space with exposed ceilings and concrete floors. They also happen to be very reasonably priced considering what a pleasing facility it is. The Empire State Building is arguably the most famous office building in the world. It is 102 stories high and about 2.8 million square feet. If your company is looking to lease an office smaller than 5,000 square feet, there are several spaces available. The building is owned by the Empire State Realty Trust, a publicly listed company. It is located at 350 Fifth Avenue in the Penn Plaza neighborhood in Midtown Manhattan. The Empire State Building offers endless expansion options. Your company will never outgrow this building. Maybe your tech company will start off leasing a few thousand square feet and one day expand into a 52,000 square foot full floor. When your company leases an office at the Empire State Building, you will get access to amenities such as a tenant-only fitness center and a tenant-only conference center, among other amenities and services. While the Graybar Building is more than 1.5 million square feet, it may have the widest selection of small spaces of the best-known Class A office buildings in Midtown Manhattan. Many of these small office spaces are built out in an office-intensive manner. They can be highly efficient for law practices or CPAs or any use that is office-intensive. The landlord, SL Green, also has a wide selection of space which is relatively open plan with exposed ceilings for the needs of creative style tenants and tech companies. The Graybar Building is owned by SL Green, a publicly traded real estate investment trust. SL Green is the largest commercial landlord in New York City. An advantage of leasing office space at the Graybar Building is that you can grow in SL Green's portfolio, consisting of more than 20 commercial office buildings in New York City. There's also an NYC office suites at the Graybar Building if you're looking for shared space, a small private office, or a flexible lease term. If you rent space at the Graybar Building and commute to Grand Central Terminal, you don't even have to go outside to access your space. The Graybar Building is right on top of Grand Central Terminal. You can just go to the Graybar Building's lobby and take the elevator up. If you found this content interesting or helpful, I'd be happy if you subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can always find me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @Metro Manhattan. Until the next time.